that one. Then there's this one over here. Looks like he has babies, that one. Hi guys, WizMan500 here. We're back, sitting at the countertop once again, and once again reviewing another Leatherman multi-tool. This is the second one that I've done in a short period of time. The second one that I've got up here in the top left, we have the Leatherman Wingman, which I reviewed. I love this tool. I rave about it all the time. Leatherman Wingman, love it. Down here on the bottom, we have the Leatherman Wave, another tool that I absolutely love. Still fairly new for me. I haven't been carrying this for very long, but it's well used. And then up in the top right, I guess that would be, this is the top left, this is the Wingman, bottom, Leatherman Wave, and then up in the top right here we have our new tool, which is going to be on the reviewing spot tonight, which is the Leatherman Blast. Another great, it's kind of on the smaller scale of things compared to your Leatherman Wave, your Leatherman Super Tool 300, your Charge series, a little bit on the smaller scale, but still is in the medium-sized range. So once again, this is a fairly new tool for me. Just gonna go over some of the specifics, most of the stuff that you've seen in most of my knife reviews before. Leatherman Blast. Let's get into it right away. First of all the tools you have to open it up to get the tools out, which is a downside for some people, but for me, no biggie. This is in the line of 3 other different multi-tools. There's this one, which is the Blast. There's also the Fuse, and then the Kick. And then there's the knifeless Fuse as well. There's an option. But this is the Blast. Great multi-tool. So right in here, on this side of the handle, over here we have all the tools are locking right here. There's your locking mechanism. As you can see, snaps down, locks really well. This is your clip point design blade that just has a great edge on it. The pencil just dropped to the floor. Just has a great edge on it. Good relief edge, sharp, razor sharp, right out of the box. All the Leatherman tools are. No clumping as well. You're not going to have all the tools come out at once due to the bushing or the washers that separate each one of the tools. You're not going to have any clumping, which I like. In the Wingman, that was one of the things that I said about it. All the tools come out at once, as you can see there. But all the tools come out individually with the Blast. Right next to it, we have a large bit driver. Not hollow ground, unfortunately. Right next to that, we have another smaller bit driver, which I believe is hollow ground. It kind of looks it. And then right next to that, if I can dig it out, we have the standard eyeglass screwdriver. I was using that today actually, and it has Phillips, and then on the other side it has a flathead. And then last but not least, on this side of the handle you have a saw, which is just an awesome design shot. It does have a little bit of a drop down in the middle there. I think it's just a cool design overall. I think it's pretty awesome. Looks cool. So that's all that's on this side. Of course, you have your standard ruler. I didn't mention this in my Leatherman Wave review, but you do have a ruler. Always forget to mention that. In centimeters and in inches. That's centimeters, I believe. Over here is inches. So that's the one side of the handle. There is Zytel inserts, which some people say, you know, it's a weakness of the tool because it weakens it. It's plastic, you know, it breaks, whatever. Haven't had any troubles with it, and it actually adds to the comfort of the tool, especially if you're using a lot of the pliers. So over on the other side of the handle we have a file. There's the wood file and a metal file, and then a little bit on the edge there for notching. And then right next to that we have a can opener and a wire stripper down below there. Up next we have a big Phillips driver. And another thing about these drivers on the Blast series of tools is they absolutely blow away the Wave series of multi-tools. For reach and length, you're not going to get much better than the Blast, because if you notice it, even though this one is interchangeable, as you can see I have the flathead in right now, you can see the difference. I mean, even that little bit that you're gaining is actually a lot, and it's a lot thinner, so you can fit into some of those tighter spots. Still love the Leatherman Wave, but I mean, you're getting so much more reach with the Blast. Another thing about the Blast is it doesn't have interchangeable bits. So you can't go and buy the bit kit and get a bunch of different bits for it. Then last but not least, one of the most controversial things, as Nut and Fancy would say, I really agree with him on that one, but the scissors, some people say, you know, they're not useful, I don't use them, and maybe so, but I use them all the time. Between first aid, a little bit of first aid that I do, they're great for that, and also just anything really that you can think of. Any detailed stuff like cutting leaders to exact lengths, you want to have something detailed, and for me I want to be using scissors and not a knife. All locking tools, once again. This is 420 HC stainless steel, which is, you know, that's a standard Leatherman steel, really. They do add in titanium occasionally with their charged TTI, and they also will add in 154 cm in some of their higher end knives, but you're not going to get your price point that you do with this. This is actually a $60 knife multi-tool, just a great price point. Not as cheap as the Leatherman Wingman, but you're still not paying a whole lot for it. Another thing I might add is there is a lanyard ring in here, just like there is in the Wave. It is really easy to access compared to the Wave. Now, if you remember in my Wave review, I talked about the lanyard ring. That came out just like that. For me to access the lanyard ring on the Leatherman Wave, I'd have to go get a different knife, a kitchen knife preferably. It's in, there it is, a saw compartment. There it is right there. Go watch the review, it's up in the top right. But there it is there. I actually have to go get a kitchen knife and pop that out. With the Blast series, I don't have to do that. I can just dig in and get it. So great option if you didn't want to use a sheath. Which does bring me to the sheath, which is a good part about it. As you know, I didn't really like the Wave's sheath, partly because for me it looks kind of patchy. Okay, so you have a piece here, you've got that's kind of riveted in. There's a piece here that comes around. I mean, there's a little piece here. It's just kind of patchy to me. The Blast series of sheaths is really crisp. I call it a crisp design because everything is just crisp. It's very clean, as you can see. Very clean design, I mean. Snaps down, once again, a snap, no Velcro. And the tool fits in there very well. It actually fits a Leatherman Wave. Probably fits a Wingman too. I never tried it with the Wingman. Yep. It'll fit a Wingman, and it'll also fit the Blast. The one thing about it that I did notice is when I first got it, I went to slide it in the sheath and it stopped there, and I couldn't get it down because, as you can see, the snap is not quite touching. It's because of the rivets back here for their belt loop. You kind of have to tilt it up a little bit and kind of wiggle it around, and then it snaps down. Fits in the sheath very well. It's not going to fall out. Little Leatherman logo there, and then the Leatherman up top. Like I said, the blade is very sharp, and the sheath is a little bit more better than the Wave series. So far it's worn very well. I've only had this for a little bit, but I'd say that this is a better sheath, just because the blast will fit in the Wave sheath, I believe. Nope, just a little shy. I never tried it before I did that, but the wingman will fit in there. But the sheath design is a lot better because you can fit in any tool. There's the wingman if you wanted to carry that. There's the Wave if you wanted to carry that. And then there's the blast. So you got a lot of options for your carry. Once again, I love the blast. No tools accessible on the outsides, and the Zytel handles do not weaken its strength. Also up here is pretty much a standard Leatherman plier head. A little bit of a space there. You can't have perfection. And then your hard wire cutters and your soft wire cutters. Overall, great tool. I highly recommend it. Coming out with another multi-tool review. Believe it or not, this is my second one. My last one, of course, was the Leatherman Wave. I've also done the Surge review, and of course my favorite, if I can fit them all in, is the Wave, or the Wingman up in there, just because it's so light and you can fit it in your pocket. Leatherman Blast, Woodsman 500 here, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned with another Leatherman multi-tool review. Stay tuned for more videos. Awesome.